The the illustration that I like to use, don't know why I like to use it, but this is what I say, is structure firefighting is doing like a CrossFit workout in an oven, and wildland fire is like doing an ultra marathon, but the woods are on fire.
Mhm.
So they're both obviously very high intense, very a lot of physical stress, especially cardiovascularly and with your respiratory system. You need strength for both, but that's the biggest difference. Whereas structure fire is a little bit shorter, more intense, and wildland is more of a literally an ultra marathon. Um, the other big difference is, where structure fire is, you're pretty much year round is for the most part the same. Um, Wildland is very seasonal, and so we're actually kind of right now in early May, right in that window of preseason where crews are getting back together. And then, depending on what region you're in, usually the Southwest, Arizona, New Mexico starts to pop off in May and early June. But usually June, July is when things really start to get cranking up across the West. And now you're in, once fire season starts, it doesn't it seems like it doesn't end. The seasons are getting longer and longer. Typically, your quote unquote fire season will go through like October ish, and and then you can go into really, from a strength and conditioning perspective, like your traditional like annual approach where you have your just like you would train an athlete. You got your preseason, your in season, your postseason, and then your off season. So I take that same approach with the wildland firefighters I coach and train, and have that long preseason buildup, usually 12 to 16 weeks of just like progressively building intensity, building volume, building building resiliency for a 5 to 6 month uh, physical beatdown, for lack of a better phrase, and then having that dedicated postseason to recover from fire season, and then off season where uh, off season is really, for me, it's about getting really strong, building an aerobic base, really kind of taking more of a polarized approach, and then to circle back to preseason, I really try to focus on building work capacity and building some of that high intensity conditioning, still focusing on aerobic endurance. That's kind of always going to be there, and and then strength is always going to be there as well. That's something that I think, to go back to your point where you mentioned under resourced, I think that aspect is very under resourced in the wildland fire population. If I could get on my soapbox for a minute, I will. I will, and I want to share this because this was really what triggered me and got me into what I do now. And it was going into my first season in 2019, um, just coming out of 2017 and 2018, where I was coaching in professional baseball. So I'm at the highest levels of strength and conditioning 2 summers in a row. And then the next summer, I'm working on a wildland fire hand crew. And it could not have been more opposite in the facilities, the resources, the the level of education when it came to just knowing how to train and take care of your body. I mean, complete opposites, and it was so incredibly eye opening for me, and almost like just shocking for me to be doing this extremely physically hard job where I feel exactly like I feel or I felt when I was like a college athlete. Like it's the same type of stress, the same preparation needed, but there's no help. Thankfully, I had a master's degree in pro experience. Like I knew what I was doing, but all the guys on my crew had no idea, and I was able to obviously help them and coach them through some stuff, and take them to the gym on our off days